Texas special teams?
Well, you know, I think both sets of special teams have made a difference for their respective squads. I don't think either of us would be here if it weren't for some of the big plays, you know, that the special teams made. You know, I think back to it was 14-3 Oklahoma, and Oklahoma kicked off, and Texas Shipley ran it back for a touchdown all of a sudden, you know, and the great punt return against Texas Tech, and you know, all those things. And we've had some similar things. Ray Small had a great return against Michigan, and A.J. Trapasso did a great job punting on occasion, knocking people down in and giving us field position and a chance to turn the tide in games. And I think their specialists are very talented. You know, their return guys, you know, are lightning. When you have depth like they have on defense, you're going to have great speed in your special units, and so they do a great job of, you know, whether it's blocking punts or kicks or covering punts or kicks, you know, they do it with great effort. Our coaching staff puts a lot of emphasis in the special teams, as you can tell theirs does. So I think both groups, you know, I think both of us are in the top 7 or 8 in the nation in net punt and, you know, those kinds of things. So, you know, both are very good, and that's going to be a huge difference maker is, you know, who's going to make that play, which of those, you know, 30 special teams plays, you know, are going to change the game. And, you know, you've got to be on guard every single play in a football game like this, and most especially in the special units.
Far left.
Jim, each year and each team stands by itself, but the way the last 2 years ended for Ohio State, is it fair to say at all that that's put an extra burden on this team to play well?
Well, you know, I suppose if it's something that an individual is thinking about and it distracts them from thinking about, you know, what they should be, you know, perhaps. But really, as you started at the outset, each team, each play is independent, you know, of another. And our focus has got to be, you know, Ohio State 2018 playing in the 2009 Fiesta Bowl against a great Texas team, and you know, if we're thinking about anything other than that, you know, it's going to distract you from having the ability, you know, to handle a very difficult task. You know, I would hope that there aren't guys on our team that are disappointed or whatever that you know, they happened to make the national championship game the last 2 years, you know, because it's not too bad. Front right.
Coach, what are the next 36 hours like for you, and do you still get butterflies like the kids? Do you get kind of nervous and anxious as game time approaches?
Yeah, I think the last 36 hours are the most difficult because we're the kind of people that always want to be doing something, you know, to be getting ready, and we've had so many meetings, had so many practices. They've heard the same thing so many times that you just want that clock to tick. And probably the only thing worse than the 36 hours before the game is the hour before the game, because you're really feeling as if you're fairly useless and so forth. But you know, of course I get butterflies. If it's important to you, you know, you get nervous about it. And do I think we're prepared? Absolutely. Our kids have worked extremely hard. Our coaches work extremely hard. But that doesn't mean I'm not nervous about, you know, Colt McCoy and all those other guys, because they're pretty well prepared too.
Over in the far left.
Coach, you've intimated that Beanie is ready for the pros, and when he talked the other day, he seemed to diffuse the situation, saying, you know, I haven't decided perhaps not to take anything away from this game. Mm-hmm. Do you sense that this is his last game, that he would go out with this senior group?
You know, I think that he is feeling as if he doesn't want to do anything to distract from this moment, because it's a special moment. He'll, you know, not have this moment with those guys. You know, I have felt all along that with his talent and the position he plays and those kinds of things, that it may end up being the best thing as we sit down and talk about that after the season, you know, that he move along. But we haven't had that discussion. And he has prepared, you know, with the intent of what the only thing that's important is the Fiesta Bowl, and we'll cross that bridge as we go.
Here in the center.
Good morning, Coach. On ESPN, 90% of the respondents picked Texas to win this game. First of two questions, what have you done to instill the confidence in your team that they can win this game? And then secondly, there seems to be some indication that maybe Brian Hartline committed a team rules violation. Is anything affecting his status for this game, and will he start, will he play?
Well, you know, confidence comes in preparation. And, you know, as you prepare and you watch the film, you know, and you watch yourself practice, and you watch the practice film, if you feel as if you're doing what needs to be done, that instills some confidence. Now, there's a reality part of it as well. You have to go out there and do that against them, and you have to do it play after play after play, and you know, that will determine how successful we'll be, and you know, whether it's 90% or 40% or 60%. I've been in games where there have been varying opinions. Sometimes more people thought we were going to win and we didn't, or other times less people thought we were going to win and we did or didn't. The key will be, you know, can we keep that focus on the task at hand, because our guys have prepared, and so I think they're confident in that, and they certainly have been acting as if, you know, they understand the plan. The coaches, I think, have done an extraordinary job of setting a plan, and I think we happen to, you know, have every understanding of the difficulty of the task. I mean, we're playing against a great team, a team that's not going to make mistakes and is not going to give you anything. You're going to have to earn every yard you get, but I think our kids have good confidence, but you know, we'll have to see how that unfolds. As far as Brian Hartline goes, you know, we may have some discussions as we go, but you know, for the moment, Brian Hartline, the only thing I would say is that he's going to have a great part of this football game. Back left.
Coach, you said when you got here that you've never been more excited about a postseason game, or you couldn't remember at least, and having coached in as many big ones with huge implications. Why is that?
Well, there aren't any postseason games that aren't big. I don't know how many you've been a part of, but you know, I've been a part of almost 40 postseason games, and every one of them was huge. You know, so there's not one huger than the other because of the relationship you have with the kids involved. Why is this one, and why do I feel that way? You know, there's been something awfully special about this group of kids, and maybe it's because it's today. You know, I don't know, but they've been very unselfish. They've prepared extremely hard. They care about one another. They have fun with one another. We're playing against a great team, you know, that we have great respect for. We're in a venue that's terrific. The people that, you know, as we landed, that we knew we were going to have a chance to, you know, reconvene our friendships with, you know, it was just a warm feeling, and so you tie all those things together and you have those emotions. But, you know, hopefully there'll be a day when we're at another postseason game and we think that's the greatest one in the world. But, you know, we're excited about this one.
Here on the right.
Jim, you've emphasized the Michigan game and obviously had a lot of success in that game recently. Are there any elements from that preparation that you take into these other big games, bowl games or other big regular season games, given that you've had so much success in that specific game?
You know, I think a league and a traditional rivalry and a bowl scenario, you know, are really different things. You know, when you're in a league, that there are some teams you're going to get to play every year, and they're going to get to play you. They know you, you know them. You bump into them all the time. Then add to it the fact all of us have that rivalry game. And I think whenever you look at a season, you say to yourself that you know, your conference, you know, is number one, and your rivalry game certainly ranks high up there. And then I don't know that you ever take for granted that you're going to be in the postseason. You know, you go to work. Once you've earned the opportunity to be in the postseason, you know, you really rev it up and get excited about, you know, whomever it is you're playing and whatever your situation happens to be. And so I think it's a little bit different. You know, you have a lot longer time, and you know, people talk a lot about the amount of time, and do you do well when you have more time or less time, and you know, all those things. And you know, it's a little bit like, well, do you do well in your openers? You had 9 months, you know, those kinds of things. But I think it's a little bit different than your league and your rival.